friends. I'm your host, Erin Port, and welcome to the Simple Purposeful Living podcast. Life can be overwhelming and busy, so once a week, I invite you to join me, and together we will make simple tweaks to uncomplicate the hard parts of our life so we can spend more time doing what we love. Well, believe it or not, friends, spring break is right around the corner, even though I am recording this on a blizzard day. Yes, that's right. Yesterday it was 55 and raining here, and today the kids are home because we're having a full-blown blizzard, and it has me ready for spring break, if I'm being honest. So today I'm going to share with you 14 of my best simple tips for a stress-free vacation, because traveling as a family is a gift. I see it as an investment and quality time with my family. I never regret a vacation. The hard moments of vacation always fade and the sweet moments remain. But let's be real, it can be overwhelming, especially as a mom who has to think about all the things, not only for herself, but her family. And if you're not prepared, it just feels 10 times harder. So that's why I love simplifying the complicated parts of traveling or anything in life so that we can actually enjoy the moments that matter. So I'm going to help you simplify traveling so you can enjoy it a little bit more. Whether you're flying, driving, or staying at a vacation rental, a little planning goes a long way toward less stress and more fun. Like I said, today I'm sharing my top travel tips from packing smart to planning meals ahead so your next vacation can be smooth and enjoyable for the whole family. Not just your kids, not just your husband, but for you too. All right, so I broke this down into 4 categories: before you go, packing, when you arrive, and while you are there, and when you come home. Is that 4? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just kidding, that's 5. Okay, starting out strong, Erin, on a blizzard day. All right, so let's talk first about planning before you go. Now, I'm not talking about like planning in advance. You already know where you're headed. You've already booked the airline tickets. You've booked your rental or hotel. You've booked your rental car. But now you know where your destination is, and I want you to think about a loose itinerary. Now, everybody operates a little bit differently. Some people like to go in with no plan at all. Some people like to have every detail planned. I like to have a loose itinerary based on where we're going. So, for example, a ski vacation. I know on these 3 days we're skiing. Does that mean that we need to get ski rentals? Does that mean we need to get ski school? Does that mean we need to get some meals for dinner because we're going to be exhausted? Having a loose itinerary there, that's what that would look like. Now, this year we're going to the beach. And so our loose itinerary is basically like we're going to get up, we're going to hang out, we're going to maybe swim in the pool in our backyard, and then we're going to go to the beach for the day, which means sandwiches, and then depending on what we feel like for dinner, a couple of meals at home, a couple of meals out. But having a loose itinerary just helps us to make plans for things like reservations and anything that we might need to do based on that. And then if you're going, say, on a cruise, right, you want to make sure that you have your cruise excursions picked out. So I use our free itinerary print checklist. So you can print this out, and it also includes, I'll talk about it in a little bit, a travel checklist for both air and travel, plus some games for kids to play while you're traveling. But this entire freebie is so helpful, and I love just sketching out a loose itinerary so that we kind of have an idea of what we're doing, and it takes the guesswork out of it. I'll never forget, we got off the cruise ship one time. We didn't have anything planned, and I didn't realize that a cruise ship doesn't really dock you in town. It docks you kind of in a like industrial part of town. And so then we got there and I thought, oh, we'll just stop at the beach. Well, that's not quite how it worked out. And I learned right away that having a loose itinerary, having a little bit of a plan would help us be more successful, because I was sure crabby when we showed up at an industrial dock and not the beach when we arrived in Aruba. So tip number 1, create a loose itinerary. Even ChatGPT can help you with this. Just ask, like, what are some things that I can do in my area? What are some things I need to be aware of? You'll be surprised what it can come up with and can give you some good clues. Okay, number 2, plan ahead for meals to save time and money. I mean, short of taking your Simple Purposeful Living meal planner with you, my kids and my family still expect to eat on vacation. The audacity! I'm taking them on vacation and they expect to eat. But here's the thing. Having a plan for what you're going to feed your family, even on vacation, is going to reduce stress just like it would at home. It's also going to save you money because you're not going to be running all over, and it's going to save you time. And I don't know about you, but I want to enjoy the most minutes I can on vacation not spending as much time at the grocery store or running around and getting food because that's just stressful for me. So, one of my favorite ways is to go ahead and plan ahead. So, we are going to the beach, like I said, for vacation this year. So, I've already started to think about, okay, there's a couple of restaurants we want to go to for dinner, but we usually do breakfast at home and we keep it super simple. I just get basically what I would get here, I would get there. And I kind of ask my family, like, what are some things you want? So if it's cereal, if it's bagels, if it's Greek yogurt, I grab those things and the amount I think that's going to last us for the week. And we do breakfast at home. And then, and I also make sure, based on my rental, what the coffee situation looks like. Is there a coffee maker? What does the coffee maker include? Do you need to get liners? Can I bring those from home? Do you need coffee? Could you bring that from home? If not, that's fine. You don't need it. But if you have a specific that you like, could you just bring it with you to save time and money? All right, so that's number one, breakfast at home. Number two, for us, this time we're going to do lunch on the beach. So we're going to basically alternate between two things, sandwiches and charcuterie. Makes it really easy. So we're going to be there for about 7 days. So I'll plan on half of it being sandwiches and half of it being charcuterie, and I'll get that all and we'll just have it on hand. I'm planning this time to go to Costco because we're going to fly into Tampa and they have a Costco there. So I plan on just getting a whole bunch of that kind of stuff at Costco. I can also do an Aldi run as well on our way to the beach. And I'll talk to you how I'm doing that. But lunch on the beach. And then dinner, we're going to alternate between eating out and eating at home. There's some nights where we come home from the beach, we're just tired. We want to just chill in our, or the kids want to swim afterwards, and we just want to hang out in our pajamas. So, and play games. So, I'll plan a couple of dinners at home. Things like hamburgers on the grill, grilling seafood on the grill, and then getting a couple of sides, like I said, at Costco that makes that simple. And then those street tacos, also a fan favorite from Costco, and all you have to do is warm up the meat. So, that's kind of what we're planning. It's a very simple, but having a plan of a few simple things. What we like to do for ski vacations or colder vacations is like a spaghetti, meatballs, pasta. You don't have to do anything with the meat other than warm up the meatballs. You pour the sauce over, boil the water and the pasta. We also like to do lasagna. Tacos are always a fan favorite, no matter what kind of vacation we're on. Like I said, grilling out is always a fan favorite too. And then sometimes you could even do pizza. If you don't want to go out, you could get takeout pizza. It's normally pretty cost effective and easy as well. Okay. Now, I mentioned that we're going to stop at Costco. Another thing that I like to do, if I don't, like last year we went skiing, there wasn't a Costco, there's just a local grocery store, is just do Instacart. Now, here's my hack for Instacart. If you are a Costco or Sam's Club member, I'm pretty sure Sam's Club has it too, but you can get a Instacart gift card. It's $100, but you only pay $80. So you get 20% off. So what I'll do generally is before I go on vacation, I'll go to Costco. I'll get myself probably two Instacart gift cards. So it's $160, but for $200 worth of goods. And that way I'm offsetting the cost of the fees of Instacart, but still getting the benefit. And I will just recommend double checking your address and making sure you are in the location that you have set. Last year we had a snafu and it was delivered to some place that was not our resort, which was a huge hang up. But I've had super good luck with this in the past. We've done this in Florida. Like I said, we did it last year in Breckenridge, but you can order all your groceries and just have them delivered through Instacart. And it is chef's kiss, so easy, and you have all the groceries that you need for the week. All right, but I highly recommend having a simple game plan for how you're going to feed your family. Even just looking ahead, are there a couple of restaurants? Do you need any reservations? That's super helpful as well. Okay, the next thing is before you go, this is probably, you could do this up to, when you reserve all your stuff too, right before you leave, but put everything in your phone, whether that's a note in your phone, or I like to just put everything in a calendar and the calendar app. So all the confirmation codes, all the reservation numbers, all the flight times, all of that information right in my a calendar so that when I get to the desk, to the car rental desk, and they ask for my confirmation number, I can just look right on my phone. I have it at the drop of a hat. Same with my flight information. Same with my reservation for the hotel, because we're going to be getting in super late to our hotel. I'm going to be tired. The kids are going to be tired. Just having that right on hand as opposed to flipping through my emails trying to find it and relying on good data service or email. as a or internet as opposed to just having it right there on my notes app. It's such a tiny tweak, but I'm telling you, it's a game changer. Plus, I just invite my husband to all of those things, so we're all on the same page. So if for some reason I'm not there and he's in the car rental line, he has all the information. I'm not the gatekeeper, or he's not the gatekeeper. We're all on the same page. So, highly recommend that. And then the last tip, I think might be controversial, but my friends and I were talking about this the other day, and I think more than not, we're in agreement. I like to tidy up my house before I leave. I am normally kind of depressed when I come home from vacation. We're back to reality and coming home to a clean and tidy space. It doesn't have to be perfectly clean, but picked up, tidy. I like to clean out the fridge so there's no food molding in my fridge when I come back home. It really is so helpful. And again, like a 20-minute tidy, just all hands on deck, everybody kind of tidy their spaces is so helpful. This year, I'm lucking out because the cleaning ladies are coming the day before we leave. So it really will be deep cleaned before we leave, which is super helpful. But let me know, are you a tidy before vacation kind of person? A lot of my friends were when we were chatting about it. I thought I was the only one. Okay, so let's move to packing. Okay, you need a packing list. There have been a few times where I thought, I surely will remember everything. My brain will remind me of everything, and I have shown up without underwear. Myself, I have forgotten my own underwear. How does that happen? I don't know. And while, yes, you can go to the store and grab underwear, it's not always convenient. And I don't need, I don't need to be buying underwear if I don't have to. So a packing list can help solve those problems. And I also, like I said, have a freebie that you can get. I put it in the show notes with a free travel checklist for both air travel and road trip travel to help you remember all the things. Because here are some things that are commonly forgotten that are super helpful. So let me go over them. First of all, if you are checking your luggage, more often than not, I like to pack a change of clothes. And if you're going somewhere like swimming or a beach vacation where you're like, I don't want to have to go buy swimming suits for every single person, I just like to pack a swimsuit in the carry-on as well. So a change of clothes, at least a change of underwear. And are you getting a sense of the underwear situation? Anyway, just in your carry-on, you could even pack in a pair of flip-flops if you wanted to as well. I always like to put my flip-flops on the outside of my suitcase, like in those outside pockets, because my kids just love to put on flip-flops as soon as we get anywhere warm. It just feels like vacation then. So that's another hot tip as well. But I do like to pack a change of clothes, especially when kids are young. Oh my goodness, I can't tell you how many times my kids spilled on me. We had a mess. My sister one time when I was in high school left a chocolate candy bar on my seat when I went to the bathroom. I sat down and it looked like I pooped my pants. And I really could have used a change of clothes. That, oh man, there is nothing worse than looking like you pooped your pants in high school. So maybe this is where this stems from. Bring a change of clothes if you can. Number two, extra underwear and socks. I think that's always helpful. And always check the weather before you go. We assume we know the weather's destination, but I'm telling you what, like I said, yesterday it was 55 and rainy here, and today it's a blizzard. If it's taught me anything, check your weather app to make sure if you don't need like extra layers, if you want to bring a rain jacket, an umbrella, extra layers if you're going skiing because it's going to be extra cold. Always check the weather and make sure you're planning accordingly. Of course, swimsuits. Double check if you're going to a beach destination whether you need to bring beach towels or not, or anything like that that you might not have at your rental or your hotel. Toiletries, and then of course, big thing here, medication and first aid supplies. It's you can go and get refills of your prescriptions at the pharmacy, but it just is more challenging, especially if you're not at a national pharmacy. So I highly recommend just making sure you pack all of those. I like to pack those in my carry-on just in case my luggage goes missing as well. And for medications that are liquid, they'll just check them at the security check. So medications through security are okay. They'll just check them. Um, uh, like I said. Okay, and then another big thing that people forget, we've forgotten these, are chargers for all devices. And for whatever reason, chargers at destinations are 10 times the cost. So always pack your chargers. We like to put them in a bag, put them in a carry-on so that we have them. I will tell you the tale that one time our charger bag fell out in the Seattle airport. Boy, that was an expensive replacement. But having those all in a zipper bag in your bag is super helpful. And then don't forget your travel documents. I did one time forget my ID, and it was horrible. Horrible. I don't even know if you could travel without one these days. I did it, gosh, that was back in like 2003. They had to fax it. It was horrible. Anyway, do they even fax it anymore? But let's just say I learned the hard way. Check before you leave that you have all of your documentation ready to go, credit cards and your insurance cards. I can't tell you how many times when my kids were young that they got sick on vacation and you need those insurance cards. Okay, so those are some packing essentials. Okay, let's talk about the day of for stress-free travel day. I love packing smart, so we're not overloaded with stuff, but we still have everything we need. So here's a few of my favorite travel essentials. I forgot to talk about packing cubes when you were packing. I love packing cubes. They just help compress everything. No, they don't make things wrinkle. If you're not using packing cubes, roll your clothes as opposed to folding them. That will also help with wrinkles. If you don't want to invest in packing cubes, you can invest in large Ziploc bags that work the same way. You can press all the air out and zip it closed. I also like to pack Ziploc bags. I'll put snacks in them, anything like that, but then I can have them as air sickness bags because the beauty of a Ziploc bag is that it zips closed and you just never know when air sickness or car sickness is going to strike, and those Ziploc bags come in handy. Plus, they work out great for leftovers when you're on vacation. They also work out for wet bags. You know, your kids swim on the last day and their swimsuits aren't dry. You just pop them in those Ziploc bags and bring them home. They are like the unsung hero, the tiny tweak you didn't know you needed. Always pack Ziploc bags when you go on vacation. They're so helpful. A couple in your carry-on and a couple in your suitcase. I also like to pack a travel essentials Ziploc bag, ironically, with antibacterial wipes so I can wipe down, of course, all of the spaces on the airplane, hand sanitizer, portable chargers, headphones. Make sure, though, remember that if you're going on a flight with entertainment, that you're going to need a Bluetooth connector or wired headphones to access that. That's always something that I forget about. Oftentimes they'll, on certain flights, especially long haul flights, they'll provide them for you uh, complimentary, but on short-term flights they don't always. So make sure that you just check into that. Not all flights have their entertainment package. Sometimes you can just get it on your phone, but something to consider. And I love getting headphones even for kids because honestly, nobody wants to be listening to Bluey for 2.5 hours. So I grab even kids' headphones for my kids, and they do great with them. I also love to pack lots of snacks. I can't tell you how many times we've gotten delayed and we've been sitting on the airplane or we've been sitting in the terminal, and airport food is expensive. So having lots and lots of snacks, if you don't eat them all on the way there, you can enjoy them while you're on vacation. I always like to pack some on the way home as well, just so we have snacks. Another thing I like to do is you can see us probably stopping at Jimmy John's before we go to the airport and grabbing sandwiches and just taking those sandwiches through for our meal. Generally, even though we're not like we don't eat out a ton, grabbing Jimmy John's before we get to the airport and taking that through security is usually and is always cheaper than eating at the airport. And yes, you can take sandwiches through. I've had people take chicken nuggets and a thermos through, but think about even packing your own sandwiches to take through. My kids love a good Jimmy John's, and it's a good excuse to kind of like eat out, quote unquote, but still save money. So like I said, you'll probably see us this spring break grabbing some Jimmy John's for dinner, taking it through security, and eating it once we're through. And then don't forget to pack empty water bottles. No liquids are allowed through, over 4 ounces, but we love to pack water bottles, and most airports, I can't think of any in the United States that don't have them, have water filling stations where you can fill your water bottle. So we just take our empty water bottles through, go to, and one of the first things we do is fill our water bottles. So we have those for the flight because the air on the airplane is super dry. It will dehydrate you. So having water is so helpful. I forgot my water bottle last time and I literally was having like anxiety because it was so dry and I was parched. And of course it was turbulent. So the flight attendants couldn't get to us. So I was just waiting and waiting for water. Anyway, highly recommend bringing your own water bottle. One of the things we like to do as a souvenir from vacation is a sticker. It's very clutter-free, it's purposeful, and we just add it to our water bottles. So our water bottles kind of become like the old school suitcase. Remember those suitcases where it had all the stickers all over the place? That's basically what our water bottles are. They're like a talking piece of all the places we've been. And it's really fun for the kids to pick out a sticker, which is both cost effective for a family of 6 and, like I said, very little clutter as well. Okay, and then like I already mentioned, spare clothes, if not for you, for the kids for sure, just in case spills or accidents happen. And then another thing I like to do that you don't have to necessarily pack in your carry-on, but you can, is a reusable grocery tote. I also have one that just zips open. My mother-in-law got it for me, and it's amazing how efficient we pack when we go on vacation and how inefficient I pack when I go home. I think maybe it's partly my attitude. Like I'm so excited to go on vacation, so I'm a packing all-star. And when I come home, I'm just, I'm going home. So having an extra tote is so helpful. Not only can you use this as an extra beach bag or helping you get things to and from the grocery store or ski school or wherever you are, but it can also help you get things home, extra souvenirs or just inefficient packing, in my case, usually. Okay, let's talk about when you arrive. I like to have a landing day. Now, this isn't always possible, but I do this when I can, especially when it comes to cruises. I like to go the day before because that cruise ship's leaving whether you're there or not, and I don't want to be stressed about not making it. But this year we're doing the same thing. We're flying down on a Friday and we check into our VRBO on a Saturday. It's just the way it worked out with cost of air flights and all of those sorts of things. And our VRBO didn't start until Saturday. But having a landing day where we don't check into the rental until 4 p.m. so we can go get all of our groceries without feeling like, quote unquote, we're missing out is super helpful. My parents taught me this with ski vacations too, because you have to acclimate to the altitude. Surprisingly, in my older age, it really does affect me more than I was a kid. I always thought that was weird. My parents are like, we're acclimating to the 7,000 feet we're at. And now as an adult, I get it. But just having that day where it's like, we're not rushing to get to the first activity. We're not rushing to go to a Magic Kingdom park. We're there. We're going. I remember doing this at Disney World too years ago with my family. We would get there, and our goal was once we got unpacked, we'd go to the pool. And honestly, it was probably my kid's favorite day of the entire Disney trip, which is ironic. But it was just that day where we could like get unpacked, get the groceries, get settled, kind of wrap our mind around where we're at. And then the next day is kind of like full blown, whatever we're doing in that moment. So having a bit of a landing day is super helpful if you can fit it into your schedule. Another thing is we like to unpack. I shouldn't say we. I like to unpack, but it's super helpful. Like I said, we have those packing cubes. And so what I'll do is hopefully wherever we go, hotel, rental, we'll have a dresser. I assign a dresser drawer to each kid, a couple dresser drawers for Scott and I, and we just basically unzip the packing cube and lay it open and the kids can just have that as their spot. It prevents things from piling up on the floor. And then we use our suitcases as our laundry basket. So as kids dirty their clothes, they just put them in the suitcase. And then on the way home, we divide suitcases like clean versus dirty and packing cubes clean versus dirty so we can stuff things in. But usually I try to pick places, especially with a family of six, that has laundry because taking a week's worth of clothes for a family of six gets to be a lot. And honestly, having a laundry just it helps not have to take so much. And then we can just wear the same things and we can wash them and all of those sorts of things. So that's what I like to do to stay organized. Okay, making the most of your trip, keeping kids entertained for downtime. Now, here's the thing we're on vacation, and I have these expectations like, I took you on vacation. You should be royally thankful every hour of every day. But kids are kids. Adults are adults. We get hangry. We get tired. We're out of our routine. We're not going to bed at the same time. We're not getting up at the same time. We're not sleeping as well, not in our own beds. And kids get tired. So I think having both realistic expectations and then having things for them to do while you're waiting in line or waiting at a restaurant. We like to take like pens and a notepad so we can play drawing games, of course, tic-tac-toe or the dot game, even letting kids just draw. We also like to bring a couple of dice to play skunk, which is like you roll and try to get to 100. Card games are really good. And then, of course, on travel days, we do allow our kids to have as much screen time as they want while they're on the airplane. And so we have them download shows and make sure that's all ready to go, make sure everything's fully charged. We also like to take those portable chargers and, like I said, plug-in chargers because most airplanes and airports now have places where you can charge those things. But having that all ready to go, just have something in your back pocket. We also like to take Play-Doh and those pipe cleaners or wiki sticks that they can mess around with, maybe a car or two that, they can drive around. simple things that, even like a football for the beach, whatever it is, just have them pack that in their backpack. So we like our kids to each take a backpack. They're in charge of their own backpack, putting it on their back, carrying it. Um, and then number two, I like to take for once you get there, it's probably falls under packing too, but take a first aid kit, Band-Aids, ibuprofen, Tylenol, if you have allergies in your family, Benadryl. It never fails. Somebody gets a headache, somebody gets a sore tummy, somebody gets a blister from walking around. Having that stuff on hand is so helpful. And I kind of subscribe to the if you take it, you won't need it, but if you don't take it, you're going to need it. And I learned this in China because when we were there for 3 weeks adopting Quincy, they gave us a laundry list of things we should take. And honestly, it was so helpful because when we got Quincy, he was severely sick. And I was so grateful to have some of those medicines in my back pocket to give to him and not have to worry about like looking for it in a foreign country or a foreign city, right? Like we don't always know where those things are easy to get to. So I just recommend taking some of that along with you, having it, and then you won't need it. That's the goal, right? Um, and then another thing is if you do have laundry, just pack your own laundry detergent in a little Ziploc bag. I wouldn't put that in your carry-on. That might look like something suspicious, especially if it's not a pod. But putting that in your checked luggage is super helpful. That way you know you have the laundry detergent you need for a couple of loads of laundry because sometimes they'll give you like one or two, but for a family like mine, we're doing multiple loads during the week. So just remember to bring your own laundry detergent. Okay, last thing. I kind of alluded to it already, but vacation is super fun. But like I said, there are going to be moments where there's squabbles and frustrations and tense moments, right? And all of these things are meant to disarm that and make life a little bit simpler. But vacation things happen as well. And so I try to just remember to keep expectations realistic. I always remember when I look back on previous vacations, the hard fades or becomes funny. Like the time we took a double stroller to Australia, that thing was the bane of our existence. It was so heavy and cumbersome, and I was so frustrated. But now it's funny to look back and think of my brother-in-law and Scott just carrying that thing up and down stairs all over Sydney. But the hard does fade and becomes funny in a good memory, and the sweet remains. So while things might go sideways, remember that. I think that always keeps things into perspective. And just know not every vacation is picture perfect for anyone. We all have family squabbles, disagreements, we're tired, we're hungry, all of those sorts of things. And the last thing is, I'm really careful to do this too, but it's so fun to document our vacation. Like we want to share with everybody, we want to take all the pictures, but really just putting our phone down and being present and taking a picture in our heart so that we can just be present in the moment. It is hard for me, but it's a good lesson in just disconnecting and being present in the present moment. So I'd encourage you for that as well. And our kids are led by example. So if we want our kids to put their phones away, we've got to be doing that as well. And it's just good to be offline, right? We booked a cruise and they were like, "Oh, you get complimentary Wi-Fi." And I was like, "Can we decline that service? I actually don't want that." I don't want that. I actually saw a resort the other day that literally doesn't offer Wi-Fi. Like you put your phone away when you arrive. And I thought that's so smart. Like sometimes we need to be told not to. Just put it away. Okay, and last but not least, when you're coming home from vacation, womp womp. I like to give myself, just like I gave myself a landing day, if at all possible, I like to give myself a buffer day. So, like I said, our VRBO is Saturday to Saturday. So, we're coming home Saturday afternoon, which gives us Sunday to kind of re enter, make plans for next week, wrap our mind around what's ahead, do the laundry, unpack the suitcases before we re-enter normal life because trying to do normal life after vacation when you're already kind of, in a grieving mode from leaving vacation behind, plus trying to do all that extra stuff that you need to get put away from vacation can just leave you feeling overwhelmed, which is counter to what we want to come home from vacation feeling refreshed and renewed. So giving ourselves that buffer day, if at all possible, is a great tweak. And then last but not least, I just hope that you have the best vacation. I hope that these tips were super helpful to you. Tiny tweaks to simplify the complicated parts of travel so you can really enjoy the moments that matter most. That's the whole goal of simple, purposeful living, right? Is to simplify life. So I hope this goes for travel as well. When we plan ahead, pack smart, and make intentional choices, we can actually enjoy our trips instead of feeling overwhelmed. So here's to a stress-free vacation with less hassle and more fun. I hope you have safe travels, friend. Whether you're going a long distance or you're staying home for spring break, I hope these travel tips help you on your next travel adventure. And your tweak of the week is to take one of these into consideration, whether that's putting all of your confirmation numbers in your phone, grabbing some Ziploc bags to take with you, an empty water bottle, planning for a landing day, ordering your groceries on Instacart, or coming home to a tidy house and having a buffer day before you have to re-enter reality. All of these will be so helpful to you on your next travel trip. As always, you can find us at Simple Purposeful Living on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, on our website at Simple Purposeful Living. Plus, we have a whole paper product line aimed to simplify your life on purpose with our best-selling meal planner, Brain Dump Notepad, and Weekly Plan Notepad that are all there to help you. And of course, we have our free travel checklist printables that includes our itinerary checklist, our packing list, all of those sorts of things, plus fun games like the 50 states game that you can color off. That will be linked in our show notes as well. All right, friends, have a great week. If you liked this episode, it would mean so much if you'd share it with a friend or leave a quick rating and review so others can find our show. Until next time, you can find me at Simple Purposeful Living on Instagram and Facebook.